D2 Word Life here.
Welcome to Corn Dust Show of the 98 Royal Rumble.
Oh, screw you. Anyway, D2 Word Life here with the Yellow Dust Riptides.
D2 Dust.
Yeah, and apparently your Riptide's dust. And yeah, that aside, today we are reviewing the 1998 Royal Rumble event that took place on January 18th, 1998 in San Jose, California at the San Jose Arena with an attendance of 18,542 fans. And ironically, you told me when you were 7 years old, you were actually one of the people in attendance there.
Yes.
And the commentators for this one was Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler.
Yes.
Anyway, the show opened up with their video package hyping the Royal Rumble match and the main event casket match, and to see who would and pretty much hyping up who will be the champion heading into Mania, and who will the Royal Rumble winner be to face them at that particular year's Rumble, with particular year's WrestleMania, which was WrestleMania 14.
Yes.
Anyway, the show started off proper with pyro going off and the entranceway, their old pay-per-view intro there, live shot intro, with Lawler and King introducing everyone to the Royal Rumble match. This was the 11th annual Rumble, by the way, on pay-per-view.
Yep.
And right before the first match started, they even showed who was the special guest up in the skybox, which is Mike Tyson.
The baddest man on the motherfucking planet. By the way, if this stuff is still true, which I'm going to be looking it up, in November next month, it is Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul.
Man, if that fight's still on, I want to see fucking Mike Tyson beat the shit out of Jake Paul along with everybody else.
Which, if that fight is still on for November of this year, we will literally do a review of the fight.
Yeah, I can do a minute review. You see what I did there? It's like, yeah, I can only imagine that fight. It's like, oh yeah, I could be like D2 Word Life here with Riptides. Oh yeah, and when we're here to review the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight.
He got the
first round, 15 seconds. Mike Tyson won by that freaking deadly uppercut he does, and he knocked Jake Paul's head off. Okay, your thoughts? It was great. It was amazing. I'll give it 5 out of 5. Me, fight rating A. That's it. Bye. That would be it. And yes, I'm saying that to be funny.
Jake Paul did not stand a chance. Got hit in the jaw. Night, night.
So yeah, there's a little preview. Shit, man. If that actually happens, I'll just take a snippet from this video, what I just said, and just post that. And replace the picture.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
I just had to put that in there because if it's still true, or if they postponed it again, because I'm going to look it up.
Yeah.
Which I'm hoping they didn't, because it'd be funny as hell to see Tyson knock the shit out of Jake Paul.
Yeah. Anyway, the opening contest to the 98 Royal Rumble was the artist formerly known as Goldust with his manager Luna taking on Vader, and we should call freaking Goldust Green Dust because he was wearing that green striped weird attire with green face paint,
green hair, and they did show a little mini video and a silver fanny pack.
Yes.
Or should I say a dick fanny pack?
This was during Goldust's weird character, bizarre gimmick phase.
Yes.
And as if he wasn't already a weird enough character. And to point that out, they did show like little clips of like Goldust with his whole rivalry with Vader briefly.
Yes, it was slightly after his Unchained phase.
Yep. Yeah, and like we said, Goldust was wearing some ridiculous purple green attire with green hair like the Hurricane, but the Hurricane pulled it off better. Hell, even YouTuber Jacksepticeye pulled the green hair better than freaking Goldust here.
I can pull off green hair better than Goldust.
Yeah.
Or Green Dust.
But yeah, the highlights for this feud included the clip where Goldust dumped his wife on screen, Marlena, Terry, Runnels, whatever you want to call her. Freaking, then he hooked up with freaking Luna after the whole Forever Unchained freaking phase. And then after the New Year of '98, he came out wearing a New Year's baby outfit. And then he dressed like freaking a woman wearing an outgown and lingerie. And then he attacked Vader, which caused
he looked like the Rocky Picture Horror Show.
Yeah. And then while on that episode of Raw, while he was dressed in all lingerie, he attacked freaking Vader, who was his opponent tonight. And this all stemmed back to that controversial Survivor Series match when Vader and Goldust were on the same team, and Goldust refused to tag in Vader in that match, and Goldust ended up walking away.
Yes.
If we remember talking about that during the Survivor Series review of '97, right?
Yes, the not so controversial.
Yep. Yeah, and then the match kind of started with Vader taking control over Goldust by running Goldust over with a running splash 2 times in the corner. Then Goldust bailed out on the floor. Right?
Yep.
Trying to freaking like compose himself. Yeah, and then Vader
wasn't having that shit.
Yeah, but then fucking Vader went onto the outside after Goldust, which Vader sent Goldust into the stairs while the steel steps, right?
Yep.
And at this point, the fans were chanting Vader, obviously, because Vader was the face, fan favorite, while Goldust was a heel. Goldust was a strange fucking heel during this day and time, which makes his character more memorable than it already is. At this point.
Well, Goldust was just strange altogether. Or Green Dust.
Or Green Dust. That's what he was for this match, Green Dust. And if you think that's bizarre, wait till we talk about the Rumble match.
Oh, God.
Yeah, because that's when it was announced that both Goldust and Vader were going to be competing in the Royal Rumble match later on in the show.
Yep.
Anyway, back in the ring, Vader hit a back body drop onto Goldust. And then Luna...
Green
Dust, whatever. Green Dust, okay, fine. We'll call him Green Dust. Well, we established that. Outside, and then, Luna from the outside grabbed on Vader's foot, causing a slight distraction, and then Green Dust hit a clothesline, knocking Vader down. And then Vader did fight back and attempted to go for another splash on the Goldust, or Green Dust. But Green Dust moved out of the way. Actually, no, Green Dust actually moved out of the way and then hit Vader with a clothesline. And then Green Dust went up to the metal rope and actually hit a freaking elbow drop onto freaking Vader.
Yep.
At this point, Green Dust was in control. Yeah, and then freaking following that, Vader went out to the floor trying to catch his breath or whatever. Then Goldust followed Vader on the outside and whipped Vader into the steel steps again. Turnabout's fair play. Yeah, and then freaking while Vader was on the outside, Luna actually freaking got some cheap shots on Vader onto the floor. The heel.
Yeah, but Luna couldn't do shit to fucking The Rocky Mountain Behemoth.
I mean, no offense to the late Luna Vachon here, but her attacking Vader is like freaking you getting tickled by a feather. Didn't really have much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then back in the ring, Blue Dust did punch Vader, who was up against the turnbuckle at one point. Yeah, and then freaking Goldust did the whole 10 punches in the corner, and before he said that, he mocked the crowd saying, "I'm gonna kick his ass." And then after the 10 punches, the old Green Dust actually kissed Vader, which Vader responded with a hard clothesline. Or a running lariat is what they call that. The running lariat, the hard clothesline. You know what Bradshaw would use and call the clothesline from hell later on in his career. And Goldust went completely 360 on that move and was knocked down, obviously. Of course, afterwards, Green Dust. I don't care, I'm just going to call him Goldust. I ain't going to remember Green Dust. Freaking Goldust tried to perform a body slam on the Vader.
You also called him Blue Dust at one point.
Well, we'll get to that later. It's like, well, Green Dust tried to body slam freaking Vader, but obviously his back gave out. You ain't slamming freaking a big 400 to 500 pound Vader. And Vader, following this, Vader actually hit a suplex on the Green Dust. Then Vader hit another splash for a 2 count, followed by another clothesline. And it was at this point Jim Ross decided to state the obvious, saying Vader is thick. And I'm thinking, no shit, Sherlock. In another news, grass is green, sky is blue, and I'm an asshole. Anything else you want to point out the obvious to?
Your corn dust, your green dust, your gold dust, your swat dust, your court dust.
Corn dust. Yeah, and then
fart dust.
It's like, yeah, whatever. But then
queef dust.
But when Goldust was down, Vader actually drug Goldust to the corner, and Vader attempted to go for a Vader bomb, but Vader took way too long.
In the nether regions.
Yep, Vader took way too long, allowing Goldust to recover, get up, and Goldust was a dick to Big Van's Vader's, delivering that low blow, which took Vader down off the turnbuckle.
Yeah, knocked Green Dust down.
And then Vader avoided freaking Green Dust charging at him. And Goldust tried to do yet another sunset. Vader then hit another clothesline on the freaking Green Dust, but then Green Dust tried to fight back by reversing a back body drop attempt into a sunset suplex attempt for a second time. And unlike the first time, which I totally didn't mention, freaking Vader actually freaking sat down on Goldust. Actually, yeah, Splash Goldust sat down on him. And freaking, and at that point, Jim Ross was like, you can see the air rushing out of Goldust's body. And Jim Ross was saying, or Jerry Lawler then followed that up by saying, I don't think that was air rushing out. What could it have been then? But then once again, freaking Vader ended up dragging Goldust. Yep, Vader ended up dragging freaking Green Dust into the corner once again. And he was setting up for the Vader bomb, and then Luna jumped on Vader's back. And the referee was like, screw it, I ain't going to disqualify anybody. And then freaking Vader hit the Vader bomb onto freaking Green Dust with Luna on his back for extra weight, and Vader got the pinfall in the win.
It was funny as hell because with Luna, it knocked her the fuck out too.
So yeah,
she hit fucking Green Dust right in the face with her chin.
Yep. So yeah, Luna's freaking face got driven hard right into the dang ring canvas.
Yep.
Shin first, it looked like on the replay. So
You could say that she got Luna dusted.
Luna dusted, is that what you call it?
Yes.
So, your thoughts on this match between Vader and Goldust? Or Green Dust, whatever you want to call him.
I couldn't really pay attention to it because I was laughing the entire fucking time because it was funny as hell. I'm like, why the fuck is he dressed up in green?
Jesus Christ. I mean, despite his ridiculous outfit for this match, which we both agree it was a ridiculous choice of attire, I actually was like paying attention to it. I was trying not to get distracted by Goldust's ring attire. You know what I'm saying?
It kept coming into my head. I'm like, It was still a good match. It was fucking hilarious.
But yeah, I thought it was a good way to start off the pay-per-view or the show.
Yep.
And I believe the right person won here to end their like little mini feud.
Yeah.
But this win would come back to bite Vader in the ass later, so... And we'll get to that a little bit later. And then we go backstage. Yeah, and then we go backstage where Stone Cold Steve Austin arrived to the arena, and a young Michael Cole, who ironically would go on to be the voice of WWE in the future, and yes, I'm talking about nowadays, tried to get an interview. Boy. We know that's your boy.
We know it's your boy.
Oh yeah, and by the way, but anyway, Steve Austin went back. Didn't even acknowledge Michael Cole. He just said, didn't even want to talk to freaking Michael Cole. All he goes, no, I got a job for you. Just park my damn truck, and if you scratch, you're gonna get your ass whipped. The story going into this Rumble is that Austin was a marked man, being hunted down by everyone prior to the Rumble match.
Mr. McMahon.
Then he kept beating up every single superstar in the weeks leading up to the Rumble.
Yeah. Well, because Mr. McMahon was saying everyone would screw him.
Yep. Yeah, and right when freaking Austin walked into the back, your boys, the Sister Fisters, showed up demanding where the hell Stone Cold went. And when I say Sister Fisters, I mean the Godwins. And all I thought was like, think to myself was like, you didn't just see Austin go through that door, you could have just immediately followed him.
Yeah.
And then Michael was like, I'm not sure. And that's how that segment ended.
Yep, he had to go park Stone Cold Steve Austin's truck.
Yeah, but you were really happy. Yeah, and according to you, that was your favorite segment because you got to see your two boys, the Sister Feasters.
Yeah, big cousin Feasters, you stupid son of a bitch.
Yeah. You do that accent way better than I do.
That's because I come up with weird ass shit every fucking week.
It's like, I don't know, man. You say you don't like country music, but you can do a southern accent better than I can. Something's up with you.
That's because I make fun of everyone.
Anyway, after that, we head back to the ringside where Sonny, yeah, that's a name not so fondly remembered today. Sonny made
we get to see midgets wrestling.
Anyway, Sonny made her entrance for the
or to be politically correct for people that don't like the term midgets.
Little people.
Tight little people.
Yeah, we go to the Minis 6-man tag match. Sonny made her entrance because she was a special guest referee for the match.
Yeah, she was wearing short shorts.
Okay, I'm going to say this right now. Opinion about Sonny these days aside, she can pull off the special guest referee wearing short shorts better than Shawn Michaels could.
You know you liked his sparkly shorts.
No, I'm with Triple H on that one from that Judgment Day 2000 review. I hate those shorts. And I'm like, Triple H.
No, you know you secretly love them.
And at the time, I'm like,
them so you could be Shawn Michaels.
And at the time, Triple H was a heel, and I'm like, for once, I agree with you. I hate those shorts. And that's still a running gag every time we review a freaking show with a special referee in it, huh?
Yes.
Yep. But anyway, the mini 6-man tag was Batallon, El Torito, and Tarantula taking on Max Mini, Mosaic, and Nova.
Yes, Battalion, Tarantula.
And you know, before we get to this match, before we even get to this, into the details or some of the details of this match, I had a hard time really paying attention to the match. Not because it wasn't interesting or because it was boring, it's because of Jerry Lawler's commentary. It's like he was reading, it was like he was preparing himself, making all kinds of, let's just say, inappropriate jokes that would not fly today on commentary.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and every time I heard him, I'm just like, oh God, there's another one. That was really distracting for me. But you know, besides that, I was actually trying to pay more attention to the match itself.
The match was just boring. That's all it was.
Crowd wasn't even into it. There was portions of the match where even the crowd was saying boring. But either way, we'll get to it. Well, let's just go through this match so we can just move on.
Let's just skip the damn thing because that was boring as fuck.
Well, we got to be fair and talk about and review each match, even if we think it's boring or not the best. So I'm going to try to make this as brief as I can. Okay? So
as short as you can.
Match. Really? You just had to say that? God damn it. It's just as bad as Jerry Lawler here at this point with those. You're like, sorry.
Well, I couldn't reach that level.
Really?
It was below the bar.
And I bet you're like, hurry up. I got a short attention span. Wait, go, God damn it, now I'm doing it. Okay, we got to stop. Anyway, the match started off with Nova performing a head scissors on Tarantula, who missed a charge and then hit the mat down. Nova hit a drop kick that sent Tarantula on the outside of the ring. Then Max got in there with three arm drags. It was mostly just a bunch of arm drags done in this match. I mean, what else do you expect? This was more like the comedy-based match.
Yeah, it was a bunch of short arm drags.
No pun. Really? You were thinking about all these jokes, weren't you, watching this?
They didn't have any short clotheslines.
You were thinking about all these fucking goddamn jokes, weren't you?
Yes.
It's like Max hit 3 arm drags and sent Battalion on the outside. So,
and Max Mini did a mini Hurricane Rana.
And let's basically say that. As soon as one person went out, another person would just come right in.
Well, that's how Lucha Libre was back then, is every time Luchador left, when they were doing a triple, a 6-man tag,
yep.
Every time a Luchador went out, another Luchador would go in.
Yeah, and there was I don't think there was hardly any tags in here. After someone just got knocked out, someone else just walked in, and they're like, well, that's illegal, man.
Yep.
Didn't really make any sense to me, but we'll just go with it anyway. Torito actually hit an impressive freaking press slam on Mosaic, followed by Torito launching Mosaic into the air.
Yep.
And Mosaic then hit another arm drag and sent Torito out of the ring. There was a lot of freaking arm drags outside of the ring and torpedoes and head scissors.
Yes, and then there was a mini Hurricane Rana.
Yep, Nova hit a backdrop on Battalion and sent him out of the ring. Nova also hit a hip toss on Torito. Then several arm drags followed from both competitors. Yeah, and then meanwhile, while this was all going on, they showed Mike Tyson up there laughing at this spectacle, if you want to call it a spectacle. Yeah, then Mosaic actually hit a head scissors on Battalion 3 times, sending him out of the ring. Max got tagged in, and Tarantula, and this is the part that made me laugh. I'm a terrible human being, I know. But during this particular part, Max Mini got the tag, and Max Mini's only 87 pounds here. Like the world's smallest athlete. He makes freaking Rey Mysterio look like a normal-sized adult, by the way. That's how short this guy is. No, there's an even
smaller one. There's Micro Man!
I'm just saying at the time he was built as the world's smallest athlete, Max Mini was. But as soon as Max Mini came in, he went full on charging, and freaking the only thing Tarantula did was just stick his boot up, and he ran right into it.
Yeah, he also did a little mini hurricanrana, mini fucking hip tosses.
Yep. Yeah, and then Tarantula got the tag.
Mini U-turn when he went on to the freaking row.
Yeah, but then freaking at one time, I think it was Tarantula freaking punched Max Mini's lights out on the top of his head twice. And then at one point, Max Mini actually used Sonny the referee for leverage to perform drop kicks on all three opponents.
Well, Max Mini went underneath her mini shorts.
And the short jokes by Lawler was really annoying, and so is your short jokes. And of course, all three men did, and then shortly afterwards, all three men did some sort of form of dive from the ring apron. From the ring apron on the outside with like missile drop kicks and Asai moonsaults and suicide dives to the outside onto each other. Which I thought was kind of impressive.
And Max Mini did a mini flip.
Yeah, and then freaking back in the ring, Torito had Max Mini down. Torito went for like some kind of like back splash on the freaking Mini, but Mini moved out of the way. And then and then Max Mini went all the way up to the top rope. Which is a long way up. It's like, that was like climbing a skyscraper from, God damn it.
And did a mini arm drag.
And did a mini arm, and then I think he did a mini head scissors from the top, and then he rolled up freaking Tarantula for the 3 count.
Yep.
Yeah, and during all this, the crowd was silent, and there was some boring chants I heard.
Yes.
Okay, now that we got that out of the way, I didn't go really in depth here. I was trying to keep it as brief as I can. I'm not going to say short. What's your thoughts? You want
to keep it as mini as you can?
Fuck off. Jeez, you're really something else here right now. Anyway, your thoughts on this 6-man minis match that Sonny officiated? So yeah, your thoughts on this one.
It was a mini match. It didn't last that long. It was very short.
Really?
They couldn't last a full minute.
You know who had a shorter match than this? Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 28.
You know who had a shorter match than Daniel Bryan? You.
But anyway. Me, it's like, I kind of understand, the spectacle and the comical aspects of this, but it just wasn't a match I was really that into, but I guess it did its job.
Also, I was thinking, what the fuck was going through Miss McMahon's head at this point?
Yep. So, yeah, this match wasn't really the best match. Obviously, it's not the best match of the card, but, if you're into, like, little people wrestling and stuff like that, or, into stuff like that, then by all means, this match for you just wasn't the match for me.
He had a mini attention span.
What was that? I wasn't paying attention.
Ah!
Yeah. By the way, you're an ass.
You were laughing at them. You'll go to hell the same way I will.
Yep. Yeah, anyway.
I'm assuming people believe in that, but that's neither here nor there.
I know, I believe what I believe, and I'm not getting into it. I don't discuss that here. But
that's
anyway,
why I said that's neither here nor there.
But anyway, the Nation of Domination was shown backstage breaking into Steve Austin's dressing room. But before that, before they barged in, Farouk actually called over Mark Henry and said, you know, one of my idea for you to join the Nation, first of all, you got to prove that you're here to go in there and beat Steve Austin's ass right now. But as soon as they walked in there, they didn't find Steve Austin. All they found was one of Steve Austin's middle foam fingers right there on a steel chair.
That was funny as hell because it just said Austin 316 flipping you off.
So pretty much Austin was metaphorically telling the Nation F off.
The fuck off.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and that frustrated them when the search continued for Austin backstage.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they briefly showed Vince McMahon Shane McMahon, and Mike Tyson up in Tyson's little private box area up there. Or
That's
Skybox.
because they were finishing up the negotiations for WrestleMania.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Also, this is kind of funny. Well, not really funny, but you know, it's the insider reference from back then. There was a sign right behind the announcers there that someone brought to this event that had that said "Tyson bite me," or "Hey Tyson bite me," which I saw, and I'm just like, I'm just like, that's an insider reference because the only reason Mike Tyson was free to do any of this is because he got suspended from boxing for biting Holyfield's ear off.
Yeah, well, he told him not to hug him, and he went to hug him, and he just ripped off the dude's ear.
Turned Evander Holyfield into Mick Foley.
Essentially.
So yeah, that's why Mike Tyson was free to do appearances like this in WWE, because he was suspended from boxing at this time. But since his name still had star power,
they wanted him to retire, but he was too highly paid and too highly fucking popular in boxing.
Yeah, but since his name still has star power, that's why Vince negotiated deals for him to make appearances in '98 for the Rumble and Mania.
Yes.
Since Tyson was free to do so, obviously. You okay?
Yeah.
Anyway, before the next match, which was the Intercontinental Championship match, they did show highlights of Ken Shamrock dominating the Nation of Domination in 3 consecutive weeks on Raw.
Yeah.
Hyping up the Shamrock Rock match for the Intercontinental Championship. And
until the 4th week when he teamed up with Mark Henry and got betrayed.
Yeah, on the go-home Raw before the Rumble here, Shamrock and Mark Henry would take on D'Lo Brown on The Rock, and Mark Henry was wearing a Rocky Sucks shirt.
Yep.
Which was all a ruse, because during the brief tag match on Raw that led up to this show, Mark Henry turned on Shamrock and aligned himself with the Nation.
Yep.
And thus that's how Mark Henry got involved in the Nation of Domination at this time period. During this time.
Yep.
And backstage, The Rock was interviewed by Michael Cole. And, well, The Rock gave a shout out to President Clinton and his problems with Paula Jones at the time. Different time period, because this is when the allegations of Clinton cheating first came up. And we know the famous speech that followed this.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Saying, yeah, Rock said, and Rock kind of bribbed on Clinton, saying, if you're going to sleep with a dog, you wake up with fleas. Hey, don't be silly, you got to cover it, Willie. Wait, what? During his promo?
Yes.
Yeah, and then Rock didn't cut this last bit of his promo. Rock did acknowledge his opponent, Shamrock, saying that he was going to beat him one-on-one, and don't worry, because there'll be someone to carry Shamrock out of the building once the beating's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a problem, and I'm just like, God damn, I don't get political here, but I felt like I had to acknowledge that, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this wasn't quite the, the People's Champion, The Rock, yet. But it was like, you know, starting to click because he was starting to do those kinds of promos at this point.
Yeah.
But The Rock entered the Nation of Domination theme song. He was the Intercontinental Champion. He was wearing it around his waist, which is, you know, unusual because every time nowadays we see him hold the championship and just raise it above his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was no other Nation of Domination members accompanying him to the ringside, and yes, the fans were chanting the Rocky Sucks chant.
Yeah.
And then The Rock got on the promo, or The Rock got on the freaking microphone and said something along the lines of, despite your chance of Rocky sucks, The Rock is the best damn Intercontinental Champion there ever was. And me hearing that as of 2024, I'm like, bullshit. Gunther is the greatest Intercontinental Champion there ever was.
No.
When he held that title for 666 days and put on banger after banger.
He cheated all those days anyways.
Well, he put on banger after banger. His match with Sheamus stands out as a great, which we're going to review that one. Can't wait to talk about that one in depth.
Yeah.
At some point in the future. Then Shamrock made his entrance. Got a huge pop at the time. Shamrock was a big fan favorite. Rock was the heel. Yep. So here we go. Yeah, and the match started off slow with Shamrock and Rock kind of sizing up each other. Shamrock got a punch in, and then The Rock just backed away in the early going.
Yeah.
Oh, and before we go any further, when the crowd was when they shot a and before we go any further than this, when they panned the crowd of everyone saying Rocky sucks right before Rock cut his promo, I swear to God, there was a guy in the crowd that they showed that looked like fucking Mick Foley. With the long black hair and the friggin' goatee beard, and looks like he had the missing teeth too.
Yeah.
And even Jerry Law was like, "Oh, look at that guy. I've seen ugly." It was like I seen better heads on pimples.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that guy looked like Mick Foley, whoever the hell that was. Which we all know it wasn't. It's just someone who looked like him.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, The Rock backed away when Shamrock got a punch in. Then The Rock freaking connected with punches, and Shamrock came back with a kick, followed by a punch that led The Rock bumping over the top rope to the floor.
Yep.
And it was at this point Rock realized, okay, I'm in a fight.
Yeah.
When The Rock got back in the ring, he took control, and The Rock actually took control with a clothesline to Shamrock. Then Shamrock came back with two clotheslines, knocking The Rock down twice. But then when Rock got back up, all groggy, Shamrock went for the Hurricane Rana. Which Rock countered by sending him into the top rope for a 2 count.
Yeah.
Like when he slingshot him into the top rope or threw him into the top rope for 2.
Yep.
Slingshot, the hot shot, whatever you want to call it. Hey. Yep, and then and there was and then when Shamrock was down, The Rock put the boots to Shamrock against the turnbuckle and kept Shamrock grounded, taking control, putting Shamrock on the offensive here.
Yep.
Of course, Shamrock did manage to battle back with a cross body block, followed by a fisherman's suplex pin and a pin attempt for a 2 count.
Yep.
But then The Rock immediately stopped freaking Shamrock's little bit of momentum he was building with a clothesline. Then the two, and then the two went to the outside of the ring, and Rock sent Shamrock into the steel steps. A lot of string steps abuse here. Right?
Yeah.
And then back in the ring, Shamrock managed to battle back with punches. Punches trying to make a comeback, but The Rock stopped that. When he countered Shamrock with a when he countered Shamrock's clothesline attempt with a float over DDT.
Yep.
You know, which is one of the signatures that The Rock would actually do later on, as we know.
Yeah.
Then The Rock slapped on a chin lock to Shamrock, which would make a certain big YouTuber really happy to see.
Yeah.
And then after a while, after about a minute or two, Rock tried another DDT, but Shamrock countered it into an overhead suplex. And it was after this match when both men were laid down, or Shamrock was trying to gain the advantage. Jim Ross said, "This is not the seniors tour. Because they are young athletes in their prime." Because both Shamrock and Rock were like in their 20s or early 30s.
Yeah.
I mean, The Rock was like 25. I think Shamrock was like in his late 20s, early 30s. And obviously, Jim Ross said this as a little dig against WCW, only booking older guys in their main events at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I realized it was 98. WWE was still warring with WCW at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Shamrock decked The Rock with a hard punch to the face. And then Shamrock sent Rock into the ropes, followed by a power slam. Yep. And then Shamrock followed that by sending The Rock into the turnbuckle, followed by a Hurricane Rana, which is impressive for a bigger guy like Shamrock. Shamrock ain't no cruiserweight. He was a former UFC fighter, and also on top of that, Shamrock, I believe, was the first person in WWE that had a UFC background that joined the company as well.
Yeah.
And then it was after that Hurricane Rana, Kama and D'Lo Brown of the Nation came out to the ring to try to aid The Rock. Or try to aid Rock, right? Of course,
gave him some fucking brass knucks.
Yeah, actually, yeah. And then Shamrock easily disposed of Kama and D'Lo Brown, of course, when he punched him from the ring apron off the ring, out to the outside. Of course, D'Lo Brown's foot got caught in the ropes, which prompted the referee to have his back turned. And then The Rock got some brass knuckles out of his tights, right? And behind the referee's back, as the referee was distracted trying to get Brown's foot out of the rope, The Rock nailed Shamrock in the head with brass knuckles. And then The Rock went to pin Shamrock, and then that's when the referee turned around and The Rock only got a 2 count. And then afterwards, Shamrock hit a belly-to-belly to The Rock, and then Shamrock got the visual pinfall for the 3 count. And the referee actually did count the 3 count for Shamrock. And then afterwards, Shamrock won the Intercontinental Championship and was announced the winner, and the fans went home happy. Okay, on to the next match. Oh, wait, there's still more. This is where the controversial part comes in.
Which is bullshit.
I neglected to mention this on purpose. After Rock hit Shamrock in the head with the brass knuckles, The Rock took the brass knuckles. He didn't put it in his tights. He put it in Shamrock's tights.
Yep.
So after The Rock clearly lost by pinfall, fair and square, The Rock was freaking complaining to the referee that Shamrock hit him with the brass knucks. And that's why The Rock was down for the 3 count. And then while Shamrock was celebrating with the Intercontinental Championship, up on the turnbuckle, the referee stopped him and was like, "Hey, we need to talk." And then the referee felt freaking Shamrock up, searching him, and he pointed at his tie, saying, "What the hell was that?" I'm like, "Ref, that's his dick."
Yes.
Because he was pointing right at it.
Yes.
But then Shamrock then freaking reached into his tights and took out the brass knucks that The Rock used against him. And because the referee saw that and he believed The Rock's story was true, The Rock immediately took the Intercontinental Championship away from Shamrock and handed it to The Rock and said The Rock was the winner by disqualification.
Yep, he reversed his decision.
Yep. Which naturally angered freaking Ken Shamrock to the point where he gave the referee the belly-to-belly suplex and put the referee in the ankle lock out of frustration. Yeah. So, your thoughts about this match, ending included?
It was good.
The ending was controversial, though, to say the least.
The ending was shit, but...
And secondly, obviously we know this was pre-planned, obviously. I hate to break that to you. But if this was a real fight, how would Shamrock not know that The Rock was stuffing something down his damn shorts? Or tights?
Yeah.
You could obviously feel that. Right?
Well, it's not when you're knocked the fuck out from fucking Brad's not.
But yeah. Anyway, this match I thought was okay. The ending was controversial, though. But afterwards, Shamrock did continue his rivalry with the Nation of Domination, specifically The Rock, which led into WrestleMania 14.
Yeah.
And if you want to be honest with it, which pretty much this rivalry between Rock and Shamrock carried 1998, because that's when they had most of the matches against each other.
Yeah.
They fought here at the Rumble. They fought at WrestleMania. They fought in the King of the Ring finals. They fought at the 98 Survivor Series in a tournament match. Yeah, it was just all Shamrock versus Rock feud was carrying this whole calendar year.
Yeah.
But this was just the start of it, and I thought it was okay, minus the crappy ending, but it did what it did. If the purpose was to continue the story, then it did its job. That's all I got to say about that one. Anyway, after the match, Mike Tyson was shown watching the show from the private box with just Shane McMahon up there joining him. They only did that to try to plant into the viewers that Mike Tyson's going to be involved somehow. And they were all saying that Mike Tyson has a huge announcement tomorrow night on Raw. Or Vince McMahon has a huge announcement regarding Mike Tyson tomorrow night on Raw, which that announcement was Mike Tyson being added as the special outside enforcer for the main event at WrestleMania 14.
Yep.
Between the Rumble winner and whoever the champion would be at that time.
Yep.
Hey. Anyway, in the back, Los Barricos were seen in the back, searching for Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Savio actually peered in one of the dressing rooms, I believe. And he goes, yeah. Los Barricos was a Savio Vegas group at that time. Savio peered into a dressing room and was like, yes, that's him. He's over there. So this whole group attacked who they believed was Stone Cold Steve Austin, but it ended up being one of the DOA members.
Yep, it was either 8-Ball or his brother.
Or Skull, right?
Yep.
And then there was a big brawl in the back between the Los Barricos and DOA. Or the dirty old assholes, whatever you want to call them.
Dead on arrival.
Yeah. Yeah, then afterwards they were hyping up the tag team championship match that was about to take place next between the champions of New Age Outlaws and the Legion of Doom, which is ironic because we reviewed this match last week too. That they would have like 4 months after this. Right?
Yep.
But in this video package, they showed how dominating the Legion of Doom was until they crossed paths with the New Age Outlaws, which the New Age Outlaws and won the tag belts from the LOD, I believe in November or December of 97, prior to this event, like a month or two prior to this event. And then afterwards, the Outlaws and Shawn Michaels and Triple H proceeded to beat the hell out of the Legion of Doom, including Billy Gunn shaving Hawk's mohawk, one of Hawk's mohawks off. And then Billy Gunn and Shawn Michaels sent Animal through an announce table at ringside.
Yeah.
And pretty much they sold it like the LOD was never beaten down that bad. And of course, on the Raw prior to this, LOD actually made their return and attacked the New Age Outlaws after a segment they did on Raw. setting up this tag team championship match, but rematch between the two teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the New Age Outlaws came out first, rocking the freaking Green Bay Packer jerseys to piss off everyone in the arena.
Yeah.
Yep, and pretty much, and then Road Dogg cut a promo saying, just like your 49ers, freaking your precious LOD will go down in history as well. As losers, pretty much is what he was freaking saying.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's a dig, not only to everyone in San Jose, but that's also a dig to everyone in my area, in our area too.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a football fan, I'm just stating facts. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, right before the LOD came out, Michael Cole did a little interview with LOD in the back. And pretty much Michael Cole asked Animal, hey, are these rumors true that the doctor said that you shouldn't be competing in this match because of your back injury? And Animal said, it doesn't matter what doctors say. Doctors don't know what they're talking about. There was no way he was going to miss this match at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And then Hawk got on the microphone saying, yeah, well, these guys in New Age Outlaws think they're as cool as the other side of the pillow. Well, they're going to be cooler tonight when we put them on ice. Oh, what a rush. And that's how that little interview ended. And of course, LOD came out with their theme song, obviously. They came out, standing ovation. And everyone just wanted to see the LOD whip the Outlaws' ass at this point.
Yep.
Anyway, the match started out with pretty much Animal Hawk dominating the Outlaws here.
Yep.
It started out with Animal hitting a powerbomb on Road Dogg for a 2 count. As Gunn made a save the pin, as Billy Gunn came in to save the pin attempt. And Billy Gunn and Road Dogg, the Outlaws, tried to walk away, but LOD freaking went after him and brought him back out to the ring. And Hawk hit freaking Road Dogg with a shoulder block. With a shoulder block, corner clothesline, and a boot to the face.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and speaking of Billy Gunn, it's funny. He's still wrestling as of today. Well into his 60s, I believe.
Yeah.
And God, he looks in phenomenal shape for that age.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and for anyone who didn't see the AEW Wrestle Dream pre-show area, your boy Rico made a return after 20 years. Anything you gotta say about that?
Behold the tribal chops.
And yeah, Rico may be in his 60s, but shit, I'm surprised he still has those mutton chops. And yeah, that's the first time we've seen your boy involved in wrestling in 20 years.
My dear boy.
I mean, shit, last time we talked about Rico here on the review, it was that Judgment Day 2002 show.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to topic. Anyway, off topic. It's like after that, of course, after freaking Hawk got control, Animal got the tag in, and he hit a back elbow, followed by a choke on Road Dogg, and at this point, Road Dogg was bleeding from the mouth somehow. Probably busted a tooth or bit his tongue or whatever. Right?
His lip or something that they were speculating.
Could have split his lip somehow. Hey. Yeah, and then after the chokehold, Hawk got tagged in and hit a neck breaker on the Road Dogg. Of course, Road Dogg did fight back and actually was able to get an eye poke on the Hawk, thus allowing him to tag Billy Gunn in and actually, get a rest. And then in the corner, and then Hawk took Billy down with a Luthes press, followed by punches. kind of like what Austin does.
Yeah.
The Animal got tagged in and hit a belly to back suplex on the Billy Gunn. Then Hawk tripped up Gunn into. Then Hawk tripped up Gunn into the STF submission hold briefly. STF, I wonder who made that submission hold famous.
Yeah.
Certainly nobody we can't see, am I right? Anyway, Animal got tagged back in. Road Dogg tripped him and Gunn punched Animal out of the ring. Because at this point, the Outlaws were going on offense. Right?
Yeah.
You know, fighting back, so it's not just one-sided here. It's like Road Dogg whipped Animal into the steel steps on the outside. Right? And then freaking Hawk hit, and then back in the ring, Hawk hit both Outlaws with a double clothesline. And even though Animal was the legal man, the referee didn't really care at this point.
Yeah.
It's like Hawk missed a shoulder charge and hit the ring post with his shoulder, thus injuring him. And which led to Hawk bumping on the outside, or going on the outside of the floor, dropping to the outside of the floor. And Road Dogg went to the announcer's table, got a pair of handcuffs, and he hit Animal on the back with them.
Yep.
And then he proceeded to cuff Hawk to the ring post. Right?
Yep.
You know, the bottom ring post, right?
Yep.
You know, the area between the ring post and the bottom turnbuckle. Hawk was handcuffed there. And then the Outlaws went to pretty much just double-teamed Animal here, working on Animal's back. Of course, Animal did fight back with a double clothesline. And then Animal did hit a jumping shoulder tackle on Gunn for a 2 count. Which even Jim Ross would be like, how impressive would it be for Animal to beat the Outlaws 2-on-1 with his partner incapacitated? Shouldn't have said that, Jim Ross, because he just put the jinx on it. It's like Gunn managed to actually freaking hit Animal with an eye poke, trying to freaking get back in the advantage. And then freaking Gunn tried to do some kind of move on the Animal, but Animal turned it into a power slam, which probably would have been all over. We don't know, because right when the referee hit 2, Road Dogg came back in the ring and hit Animal on the back with a steel chair.
Yep, it would have been over.
Leading to a disqualification victory for Legion of Doom, but the championships did not change hands. Because the championships cannot change hands on a DQ unless stated otherwise.
Yep.
So the Outlaws were still champions here. Yeah, and then the Outlaws continued to double team Animal until Hawk, freaking with a rush of adrenaline, broke the handcuffs and actually attacked both Outlaws in the ring, including nailing freaking Road Dogg in the head twice with a steel chair.
Yep.
And then afterwards, the Outlaws just ran off like scolded dogs with their tails tucked in between their legs. So, your thoughts on this tag team title match? And that's the second DQ we've seen twice in a row in this event.
It was good.
Yep. That was alright. The Outlaws look like they got squashed in this matchup. But this match kind of ended deflatingly with a DQ finish. That's kind of what hurt for me, considering we already seen a controversial DQ finish before this. Literally, right?
Yep.
So we got two matches, both ending in a DQ in a row. That kind of like drags the overall score down for me.
Yeah.
But then, the moments leading up to the DQ finish, I thought were okay. That were good. I still say their match that they had at the show we reviewed last week, the Unforgiven show, was better than this one.
Yeah.
Not by a whole lot, because that one also had a controversial ending, as we know, but, just slightly better.
Yeah.
After the match, they announced that they were Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler announced the contest that they were giving away Steve Austin's truck in like a random drawing, which was won by some woman named Mildred Bowers, and she's from Nashville. Whatever, big deal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the next match on the card was a Royal Rumble match, but before the match even started, they aired a video package explaining why Steve Austin was a marked man in the Rumble match, and then how Austin just kept beating the hell out of everyone backstage leading up to this match or this Rumble match. So there you go. And of course, once before the Rumble match started, they showed Mike Tyson up in that private box again with Shane McMahon. And the fans actually booed when they saw Tyson on screen again for like a fourth time in this show.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, I'm kind of getting sick of it. Maybe the first couple times, fine. Or they could have showed him at the start of the show, or maybe after the Rumble match, and then that's it. They only had to show a minimum of 2 while the announcers were advertising that big announcement. They didn't have to keep showing them over repeatedly.
Yeah.
This isn't a dig at Mike Tyson. That dude can rearrange my face if he really wanted to. I'm just saying. He didn't need that many screen time on this show.
Don't fucking go.
Exactly. But either way, I'm still looking forward to Mike Tyson beating the crap out of Jake Paul at time of recording.
RJ, let's go potty.
You know what I'm saying. Yeah, and then the next match on the card was the 30-man Royal Rumble match, where the winner would face whoever the WWE champion would be at WrestleMania 14.
Yep.
And of course, Howard Finkel announced the rules for the Royal Rumble match, as if we already didn't know. Where the only way
it was always they'll think.
Yep. Yeah, and then saying pretty much the Royal Rumble match rules, which was 2 men start off the match, the 1 and 2 entrants start off the match, and every minute and a half to 2 minutes afterwards, a new entrant would come in, and the other way until all 30 participants entered, and then the elimination occurs when you're thrown over the top rope when both feet touch the floor. And the last superstar in the ring after everyone's been eliminated wins the match.
Yep.
Number 1 was Cactus Jack. And Cactus Jack came out with freaking trash cans. Weapons.
Yes.
That should have just pretty much gave you an idea of who number 2 is. And number 2 in this Rumble match is
what everyone is doing in Fortnite
right now.
Chainsaw Charlie.
Which we all know was Terry Funk wielding a chainsaw.
Yes. Wearing
pantyhose on his head.
Yes. Fishnets.
And of course, Cactus Jack sees the chainsaw. He's like, nope, I'm getting out of the ring through the metal rope. And freaking Cactus Jack threw a bunch of chairs in the ring, which Terry Funk caught, with his chainsaw, sparking it a bit when the chair hit. Right?
Yes.
And then Jack went in there and hit Chainsaw Charlie with a steel chair, causing Terry Funk to drop the chainsaw. Right.
Which prompted Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross to say, oh, everyone knows that it's over the top rope that you get eliminated, or you get dismembered by a chainsaw.
Yep. Yeah, they were like, yeah, remember the only way to be eliminated is to be thrown over the top rope and both feet hitting the floor. Jerry Lawler adds, or to have your major limbs lopped off by a chainsaw. Which is what's going on Fortnite right now at time of recording.
Yes.
And I'm just like, you really had to freaking talk about dismemberment.
The violence, we need it.
And of
I
course,
crave sustenance.
and of course, you know, Terry Funk or Chainsaw Charlie hit Jack in the back with some steel chair shots. And you know, they do some dueling chair spots, right? Where freaking, you know, Jack hit freaking Funk in the head with a steel chair, which is something we wouldn't see today, obviously. But then right when Funk was like, yeah, give me another, Jack actually hands the chair to freaking Funk. And says, yeah, hit me in the head, which is exactly what he did. Which what Funk did, not once but twice.
Yes.
And then Funk went to try to eliminate Jack, and then we got the countdown, and number 3 came out to his ring. Number 3 came out, which was Tom Brandy. Whoever the hell that is, of course, it doesn't matter, because he didn't really last very long. He only lasted about 12 seconds, then he was eliminated, the first one gone.
Right. Well, he lasted less than Daniel Bryan.
And I'm just like, geez, yep, goodbye. Imagine traveling to the Rumble, traveling everywhere, going to the Royal Rumble, getting all ready, just to be eliminated in like 12 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah, short match, easy pay, I guess. Yeah, and then Jack and Funk battled some more. And of course, at this point, Jack set up some seated chairs and suplexed Funk right into him.
Yep.
It's like, well, he didn't eliminate him, obviously, because he was on the ground and quivering in pain. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, the countdown happened again, and number 4 was Nation of Domination member The Rock, Intercontinental Champion, who we seen earlier face off against Shamrock in that controversial match. Right?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, and then, like, he came out and he started working on Chainsaw and Cactus, you know, just stomping at him, punching at him. But then freaking Jack and Charlie, or Jack and Funk, whatever you want to call him, got the upper hand when freaking Jack hit Rock in the head with a trash can. And then afterwards, freaking Jack when Rock got back up to his feet, Jack had the idea, to put the trash can over Rock's head. And then freaking Funk and Jack took turns just punching the Rock with the steel trash can over his head. In like a good comedy spot. And then Jack ended up taking a steel chair, hit the Rock, who still had that trash can over his body with it. And then the Rock fell out of the ring over the middle rope. Thus, he's not eliminated.
Yep.
And then number 5 came out, which was Headbanger Mosh, right?
Yep.
And he DDT'd Charlie, who actually stumbled all over the place afterwards. And then Charlie hit a moonsault on that barely hit Mosh afterwards. Right, which, let's be honest, this was effing Terry Funk. He'd get botched and we'd still respect him for it. Number 6 then came out, and it was your boy. Yeah, and it was your boy Cletus. I mean, Phineas Godwin. Yeah, but then things did slow down a bit from here. It's like Funk. Yeah, and then Funk was just simply sitting in the corner because he's so tired, and he was middle-aged and crazy. But, you know, age is a factor, did catch up to him. And just think, Funk would wrestle for 20-plus more years after this, before his passing in 2023. Number 7 came out, and it was 8-Ball from the Dirty Old Assholes group. Yeah, and then and then after 8-Ball got the ring, Jack actually charged into Terry Funk, or Chainsaw Charlie, whatever you want to call him, who ducked, and Cactus got eliminated. So yeah, Cactus Jack's been eliminated from this match. And Rock tried to eliminate Funk, but, you know, he hangs on by getting his legs intertwined there. Veteran, right?
Yeah.
Knows his way around the ring. He knows how to hold on and avoid elimination.
Yep.
And number 8 came out future WWE champion Blackjack Bradshaw, aka JBL. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he wasn't at that. Yeah, he wasn't a member of the APA yet, but he was on his way to doing that. He wouldn't be an Acolyte member until about a year later with Farouk. And everyone a part of this match so far that was in the ring was a part of a stable, except for Chainsaw Charlie, unless you want to count his partnership with Cactus Jack at this time. Number 9,
Yeah.
then number 9 came out. And Chainsaw Charlie was. People were trying to eliminate Chainsaw Charlie during this too, but he just kept hanging on like a damn spider monkey. Number 9 was Owen Hart. But number 9, the late Owen Hart, but he got jumped from behind by Jeff Jarrett, who was representing the NWA at this point, probably on orders of Owen's rival, Owen's enemy, Triple H at this point. And Jeff Jarrett attacked freaking Owen, and even freaking Jim Cornette, Owen's former manager, actually hit Owen in the back with a tennis racket as well, which prompted Owen to actually have to go back to the back to get medical treatment, so he didn't even make it to the ring.
Yeah.
Number 10 was motherfucking Steve Blackman, making his motherfucking debut at the motherfucking Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And he was a martial arts expert at that point. Yeah, and then Terry Funk got hit with a pile driver by 8-Ball. Yep, and then Terry Funk was taking more bumps than anyone else in the match at this point. Everyone else was just either laying back in the corner, throwing some punches and kicks to everyone else, or anything. It was Terry Funk was taking the most bumps at this point. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, number 11 was Nation of Domination member D'Lo Brown, and The Rock was actually happy about that one, knowing he had some backup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Brown and The Rock would actually briefly team up and they double team Bradshaw, and then they started fighting each other. Yeah, alliances don't last in a Rumble match, right? Even though they are both a part of the Nation at this point. Number 12 was Kurgan. If you remember who that is from our Survivor Series review, he was a big, huge, tall one. Tall powerhouse. Yeah, and he was built at 7 feet, 350 pounds, even though he was probably like 6'6". Right?
Yeah.
But either way, he was a big guy, and they were all trying to gang up on him. And, because he was the biggest man in the match at this point, freaking Kurgan did eliminate Mosh. Right?
Yeah.
And then Blackman went for a kick on Kurgan, but Blackman missed. And Kurgan pounded him in the corner. Number 13 would follow suit after this, and it was Mark Merrow with Sable.
Yeah.
And of course, the fans were cheering, not for Mark Merrow, but for Sable, right? When they came out to a Monster Pop, it was Sable getting cheered, not Mark Merrow. Oh, yeah, and by the way, as we all know, for those who don't remember Sable, Sable's the one who nowadays is married to Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
Yeah. But back then, she was either married to Mark Merrow or in the process of divorcing Mark Merrow. Yeah, and of course, Mark Merrow was freaking, doing this whole boxer gimmick, throwing lefts and rights on everyone. And even Jim Ross in commentary is like, there's nothing Mark Merrow can teach freaking Mike Tyson about boxing. Right?
Yeah.
And Kurgan, and meanwhile, while Merrow was doing all of his jabs and stuff, getting momentum for the Rumble match, Kurgan eliminated Blackman. Right?
Yeah.
And that's when number 14 came out, which was Ken Shamrock, you know, the one who got robbed early in the show by The Rock in that Intercontinental title match.
Yep.
So as soon as Shamrock's music hit, Jim Ross was like, oh, I would watch out if my name was Rocky Maivia right about now. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and but as soon as freaking Shamrock got to the ring, he didn't go after Rock like everyone thought. He actually went after Kurgan with kicks, stunning the big man, and he actually managed to get Kurgan down. And then about 6 or 7 of them at a time ganged up to eliminate Kurgan.
Well, they wanted to get the big man out.
Yep. Yeah, so the big man got eliminated. And then after this, number 15 made his way out to the ring, which was Headbanger Thrasher. And, yeah, and at this time, The Rock and D'Lo just kept fighting with each other despite being on the same team.
Yeah.
And, of course, it was at this time that the crowd got a little bored and they started chanting Sable. But do you really blame them at that point?
No.
Because they were just all wondering when fucking, yeah, they were just wondering when freaking goddamn Steve Austin was coming out. That was pretty much the story, because every time the countdown would go, freaking Jim Ross would be like, is this Austin? And Lawler was like, nope, it's not Austin. Oh, and also before Shamrock's entry into the Rumble, Jerry Lawler made the made the speculation that Shamrock took out Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and here's a little shocker. Number 16 then came out, and it was Mankind, who we seen earlier in the match as Cactus Jack, by the way. And as soon as Mankind got into the ring...
Mick Foley.
Yeah, Mick Foley, who we seen earlier as Cactus Jack. Mankind got in the ring, and he immediately eliminates Chainsaw Charlie, or Terry Funk, getting revenge. Because Cactus Jack, or Chainsaw Charlie, eliminated Cactus Jack earlier. So Foley got revenge for that one, stunning everyone in the process. Yeah, and it was during this time period where Mick Foley would just regularly wrestle as all 3 of his gimmicks on any given show, so it was kind of normalized at this point. Yeah, and then Shamrock at this point started working over The Rock, also, which tied into their storyline and their match from earlier.
Yeah.
And then number 17, your boy, Blue Dust, came out to the ring, wearing some kind of weird silver outfit, blue hair, and red face paint. This time. Your thoughts on Goldust's look for this friggin' Rumble match after what we've seen him wear in the opener?
Yeah, no, it's your boy, Blue Dust.
Oh yeah, and we didn't even mention this. During this freaking out, when Goldust was wearing this outfit from the Rumble, he had orange freaking boots on too. Looking fucking weird as shit. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blue Dust, and then as soon as Blue Dust got in the ring, freaking he eliminated Mankind.
Yeah.
Oh, but don't worry, we'll see him a little later on again. Spoilers.
Just as Sharon said, she filled out the questionnaire.
Yeah, she just called me on Messenger.
And then shortly after that, number 18 came out, and it was the NWA North American Champion, Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then as soon as Jeff Jarrett got into the ring, Owen Hart came back out, got in the ring, and actually ignored everyone else and just went after Jeff Jarrett, even hitting Jarrett with a back heel kick, and then eliminated him.
Yeah.
Actually, no, before he eliminated, Jeff got a number and then briefly tried to throw out Owen, who hung on, skinned the cat to get back in, and then eliminated Jeff. After Jeff was in the middle of a strut taunt.
Yeah.
Just think, Owen Hart and Jeff Jarrett would be a tag team about a year later after this. Figure that one out. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, after all that, number 19 was the Honky Tonk Man. Right? WWE legend.
Jerry the King Lawler's cousin.
Yep. And while the Honky Tonk Man was making his entrance, Triple H and Chyna came out. Triple H was on crutches. And Triple H was the European champion at this point.
Yeah.
And of course, also during Honky Tonk Man's entrance, The Rock had a low blow on Shamrock and eliminated Shamrock.
Yeah.
Thus, The Rock got another one over Shamrock on this night.
Yeah.
And of course, Owen started yelling at Triple H when he was in the middle of trying to eliminate someone. And then he went to go. Then Chyna went to hit Owen with a crutch, which Owen caught, which prompted Triple H to jump with the other crutch, nailing Owen in the back from the ring apron. And then Chyna eliminated Owen when she pulled on the crutch, thus sending Owen over the top rope.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, that got a round of boos. And of course, as Owen then got up, took the broken crutch and just started chasing down Triple H and Hunter to the back, which Owen tripped and fell in gorilla position.
Yeah.
And of course, it was at this time that number 20 entrance came out, which was Ahmed Johnson. Just think about the star he could have been if injuries didn't take over.
Yeah.
And of course, Jerry Lawler was like, I wonder if Ahmed Johnson realized how stupid he is wearing earrings in this match. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, when Ahmed Johnson got in the ring, they did show a replay of how Shamrock got eliminated, which was initially missed because of Honky Tonk Man's entrance. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, Ahmed Johnson was kind of like trying to dominate people and everything else also, but he was like, slow going at it. I mean, Ahmed Johnson had the look of, I don't give a F anymore. I mean, Ahmed Johnson would be gone by February the following month after this. Number 21 was the newest member of the Nation of Domination, Mark Henry, the world's strongest man.
Yeah.
And then he went to freaking work and Jerry Lawler said he's the odds-on favorite right now. Right, enough said with that one. Because he was now the biggest, strongest man in the match. Yeah, and then Johnson said he looks terrible. Of course, Johnson's looked like he was in terrible shape here, like I was saying earlier. Mark Henry threw some powder into Ahmed's eyes, right?
Yeah.
Taking advantage of him, but at the time, the countdown was coming down for the next entry, which was number 22, and no one came out. And it was later reported that entry number 22 was supposed to be Skull from the Dirty Old Assholes tag team, which the reason why he didn't come out is because, he was attacked by Los Pericos in the back that we seen earlier. Writing him out of the match due to injury, supposedly. Right?
Yeah.
And then Brown, and following this, D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry eliminated Johnson. Right? And for some reason, and then Phineas, I believe, was eliminated. Phineas then got eliminated. I don't remember by who. Right? And for some reason, Ahmed Johnson and Phineas Godwin start brawling on the floor. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, Phineas was eliminated prior to that by Henry as well. I just didn't catch that at the time. Right?
Yeah.
Yep, and at number 23. And then number 23 then came out, and it was Farouk, the leader of the nation. So all 5 nation members were in there at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course the announcers kept saying Austin was 22, which that wasn't the case, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the typical Royal Rumble brawl kept happening, just anticipating the next entrant here, no eliminations. And of course Farouk was just going after everyone, including his own stablemates, by the way. Specifically The Rock at this point.
Well, it was for every man for themselves.
Yeah, it didn't matter if it was partner against partner, stablemate against stablemate, brother versus brother. Yeah, in a Royal Rumble match, anything goes, and it's every man for himself, like a big free-for-all.
Yeah.
And of course, number 24 was Stone Cold Steve Austin. As soon as his music started playing, he got the biggest pop from the crowd, and everyone who was brawling in the ring stopped. And they were just all looking towards the entranceway because all of them wanted a piece of Austin at that point. Yeah, which gave us that great shot of everyone just standing there watching, which is a great Attitude Era picture, by the way. Explains it.
Yeah.
And of course, Austin was smart. He didn't come in through the freaking regular curtain down the aisleway where everyone was expecting him to. Austin came out from behind through the crowd, and as soon as he got into the ring, he brawled with Mero and eliminated Mark Mero. Right?
Yeah.
And then Austin eliminated 8-Ball as well. Shortly after that. Yeah, and then Austin then choked D'Lo with his jacket just for the fun of it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Austin was pretty much brawling everyone at this freaking point. And then number 25 came out, which was goddamn, yep. Which was Henry Godwinn. It's like AKA Rufus.
AKA D2 and Matt Bag.
No. Of course, when Henry Godwinn in the ring, he immediately went after Austin. And of course, the announcers or the commentators said that freaking Henry was like 300 pounds plus, which I don't see it. He's up there in weight, but I don't see that.
They said that he was a biscuit away.
He was a biscuit away from 300, right? Of course, Bradshaw been in there for 36 minutes. The Rock's been in there longer, right?
Yeah, he was in there for 50 minutes.
It's like, yeah, and then number 26 came out, was Savio Vega with his stable, Los Boricuas. Savio Vega was the only legal entrant at this point at number 26.
Yeah, but the others got their asses kicked by Stone.
Yep. Yeah, but Austin fought back and disposed of all of them at the same time. Savio didn't go over the top rope and get eliminated.
Yeah.
Right? And at this point, freaking, there hasn't been an elimination in a while. Of course, JR keeps talking about Bradshaw, calling him a big young stud at this point. Bradshaw was been in there the longest, or one of the people that's been in there the longest. The Rock was in there for the longest amount of time. Yeah, and number 27 was, number 27 was Farouk. Sorry. Wait a minute, then who was okay, Kama Mustafa came out before Farouk did. Farouk came out at number 27. And then Farouk started going after everybody. Okay, I had my entry numbers there wrong.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was Kama Mustafa that came out before Farouk earlier in the match at number 23. My bad, people, sorry. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, Farouk got in there, he immediately goes after The Rock and all of his other Nation of Domination members. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, The Rock and Austin then were fighting onto the floor. And the announcer were like, was Austin and The Rock eliminated? They both weren't eliminated. Austin went out the outside through the rope. And Rock followed suit through the rope as well. Rock whipped Austin to the steel steps, which takes its toll on Austin's lower back. Of course, then Austin did fight back. Actually, no. Rock dropped Austin jaw first over the railing afterwards, so Austin was down. This was giving him time to recover, right?
Yeah.
And number 28 was Mick Foley again, this time as Dude Love. So now Mick Foley completed the trifecta as the only person to compete in the Royal Rumble, same Royal Rumble match 3 times. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then right when freaking Dude Love got into the ring, Dude eliminated Bradshaw. After Bradshaw's been in there for like about 40 minutes at this point. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, after Bradshaw was eliminated, Austin whipped Blue Dust into the steps and then decked him with a clothesline on the outside. Then The Rock hit a people's elbow on D'Lo. Also, during this time period, it was the regular standard elbow drop. It wasn't quite the people's elbow drop. And then number 29 was Chains of the Dirty Old Assholes tag team stable. Yep. Yeah, there are 12 guys in the ring. There hasn't been an elimination before number 30 came out. And number 30 was Vader, which Jim Ross called the Stinky Grizzly Bear. Right? And Vader, I'm pretty sure, was going after Goldust, who he beat earlier in the match. Or earlier in the show, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the quick eliminations near the end started when Vader threw out freaking Honky Tonk Man. Who, let's face it, Honky Tonk Man didn't really eliminate anybody, and he was there for about a good 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. And Austin then eliminated Headbanger Thrasher and Kama in succession, Kama the Future Godfather. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Austin and Savio Vega got into a little scuffle in the ring, and which Austin took advantage of and threw Savio to the outside, eliminating him.
Hey, I'm not from the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Blue Dust got a little bit of revenge for his loss earlier to Vader by clotheslining Vader over the top rope, thus eliminating him. So Vader's out, eliminated by Blue Dust, right? Who at this point had the face paint knocked off his face.
Yep.
And of course, shortly after that, Dude Love eliminated freaking Rufus, or Henry Godwin.
Yeah.
And despite how long Blue Dust lasted, weird outfit and all, after that, Chains eliminated Blue Dust. Right? It's like leaving the final 6 in the match. Which then, after that, also eliminated Chains of the UA, which Chains, I believe, landed on the steel steps upon elimination.
Yes.
And then afterwards, Farouk tried to eliminate Henry, but Henry hung on, right?
Yeah.
But as soon as Henry tried to get back in, Farouk kicked him out. And somehow, despite having 1 foot over the middle rope, that counted as elimination for Henry. I think it was botched. I think Henry's elimination here was kind of screwed up or botched at this point. So
he had gone over the top and was going back through the middle and then got kicked and both his feet landed.
Yep. So the final 4 in the 98 Rumble was Steve Austin, Dude Love, Farouk, and The Rock. And of course, Austin and Dude Love did a little double team where they freaking ran both freaking Farouk and The Rock into each other. Yeah, and then and of course, Dude hit sweet shin music on The Rock and hit Rock with a DDT.
Yeah.
of course, right when you think it's all good between Austin and Dude Love, Austin actually went after Dude Love too. Also by a bunch of punches and kicks, and then Dude Love came back and applied the mandible claw on Austin, which Austin got out of when he kicked him in the nuts. And because of that, Farouk freaking was able to clothesline Dude out of the ring and eliminate him.
Yeah.
Thus meaning Mick Foley got eliminated 3 times in the same Rumble match.
Yep.
Which made the joke saying, Mick, you competed in the same Royal Rumble match 3 times and you still couldn't win. Then we were down to 3. And of course, Farouk went after Austin in the corner, which The Rock could have helped Farouk eliminate Austin, but Rock just sat there in the corner, just letting Farouk do all the work. And then The Rock came up with an idea, so The Rock snuck up behind Farouk and eliminated Farouk.
Yep.
Which meant the last 2 participants were The Rock and Austin, the 2 faces of the Attitude Era. Yeah, and then freaking Rock and Austin went back and forth. But then freaking Austin got the advantage and threw The Rock over the top rope, which The Rock hung on to. And then Austin hit a stunner on The Rock, which that sell job from The Rock was excellent. And then Austin eliminated The Rock by throwing Rock over the top rope with both of his feet touching the floor. So therefore, the winner of the 1998 Royal Rumble match was Steve Austin, and the crowd popped for that.
Yeah.
I guess you can say it was predictable, but, you know, even a predictable Rumble can have its memorable moments. So your thoughts on the 1998 Royal Rumble match as a whole?
Yeah, it was good.
Of course, the big, other than Austin winning, you know, the only other, the main highlight standout I saw was Blue Dust. And the multiple stories they were telling throughout this Rumble match with the whole Owen Hart Triple H stuff, the attack from behind, everyone wanting to get a piece of Austin. It all worked for this match. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not the greatest Royal Rumble match I've ever seen, but it's not the worst. It ain't terrible. So yeah, it's passable. And of course, I did like the stuff with Mick Foley and Terry Funk to start off the match as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the most eliminations for this Rumble match was Steve Austin, who had 7 of them. And the person who lasted the longest in the match was The Rock at 51 minutes and 32 seconds. Because he entered at number 4 and he was the last one eliminated. And of course, the person who had the shortest time in this Rumble match was Tom Brady with 12 seconds. Whoever the hell that guy was, right?
Yeah.
And you know, they were pushing The Rock at this time because they probably viewed Rock as the big next future main eventer, making him last this long in a Rumble. And then 6 months later, have him be the runner-up in the 1998 King of the Ring. And eventually pushed him to the W Championship by that November Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Which, if they viewed Rock as a future big main event star back in early 98, they were right, because look at the mega star he became. All thanks to WWE back then.
Yeah.
And of course, after the match, Austin celebrated his Royal Rumble victory, while the fans were continuing to cheer and pop for it. And of course, Mike Tyson was shown yet again, talking about, yeah, Stone Cold, or should we say, Cold Stone was his man. And that guy won, and he said, oh yeah, the casting match, he's just looking forward to the match. Can't predict the winner. Right?
Yeah.
Cold Stone. Cold Stone. Yeah, that'll be a great fucking seller on a t-shirt, am I right?
Yeah.
Cold Stone Austin Steve. There you go, that's his name. Am I right?
Yeah.
And of course, the main event was next, and it was for the WWE Championship between WWE Champion Shawn Michaels defending the champ, and he defended the title against The Undertaker in his casket match. And, before the match started, they showed, highlights leading into this match, briefly going over the first, encounter these guys had in that Hell in a Cell match, which we already reviewed on this channel. And then it went to and then it highlighted the debut of Kane, and then the rivalry continued between the two, following the controversial Survivor Series, which after this match was made as a casket match, Shawn Michaels was playing mind games with The Undertaker leading up to this one, and probably Undertaker followed back. And Shawn Michaels then at one point in the Go Home Raw said that the newest member of DX was Kane, which Undertaker came out and said this had nothing to do with Kane. It started attacking DX, and then Kane came out after DX got the beat down on Taker, and then Kane looked like he was helping The Undertaker into this lead up to the match, uniting together. Oh boy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh boy, we'll see exactly how that played out during this match. Anyway, I must warn you before we get into this match is infamous for one reason, and we'll get to that reason just here literally in a few moments. Yeah, Triple H. Yeah, Michaels came out. It's like there was a casket. The big giant casket was placed at the ringside area. Michaels came out first, being, the ever cocky heel, leader of DX. Right?
Yeah.
He had Triple H in China with him. And then The Undertaker came out got a major pop from the crowd, obviously, because he's the mother freaking Undertaker. Right?
Yeah.
And the match officially started with Michaels trying to be aggressive with punches, and of course Taker came back with a chokehold on Michaels. Then Michaels freaking jumped into his arms, into a chokehold. Right? That's how Taker got advantage of him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then Taker picked up Michaels for a press slam, but Michaels broke free. Yeah, and here's the part I'm talking about. After Michaels broke free of Taker in the early going, Michaels charged at Taker, and then Taker would give him a back body drop over the top rope. And Shawn's lower back hit the edge of the casket. And that right there is how Shawn Michaels broke his back.
Yeah.
That led him into retirement for 4 years. Though at the time we did not know it because Michaels came back and just continued fighting like none was wrong. But Michaels said it himself in documentaries that spot right there was what busted his lower back.
Yeah.
Because the next day at the hotel room, right before they were going to travel to the next town, he just woke up and his back was in agony pain. Like after all the adrenaline wore off. To the point where he had to go to the hospital and get his back x-rayed. And the doc goes, yep, you got 3 dislocated discs back there. Pretty much indicating your back is broken. Right?
Yep.
I give credit to Michaels. He still came back in this match and fought for another 20 plus minutes. All right.
Yeah.
After that. Probably all due to adrenaline. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and it's needless to say, after this match, Shawn Michaels would not wrestle another match until WrestleMania 14. Spoilers, but we already know what happened. We already know. This was years ago. Retro
He was
event.
recovering.
Yeah, and he was recovering, trying to get in shape for WrestleMania, and then following Mania, he would not wrestle again for over 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Yeah, then Michaels, of course, no-showed his back problems, like we said at the time. And, of course, he continued to wrestle the match, right? Probably due to adrenaline. Taker took full control on the outside after this. And he slammed Michaels onto the floor. And then kicked Michaels into the casket, but Michaels was quick to get out of there. Right?
Yeah.
And all I could think about was all the pain the punishment that Michaels' lower back was taking too in this match, following the spot that broke his back didn't really freaking help things either. Knowing what we know, right?
Yeah.
And of course, Michaels and Taker went back to the ring, and Taker ended up decking Michaels with a punch, and Michaels did his old school, followed by a punch to the shoulder, bumping Michaels across the ring. He did old school, bumping Michaels across the ring. And then Taker then whipped Michaels into the turnbuckle, leading to Shawn bumping over the top rope, doing the Ric Flair bump over the rope.
Yeah.
Landing on the floor in the process. Michaels then tried to fight back and hit a neck breaker using a top rope for an assist. And then he jumped off, and then when he went to jump off the top rope, Taker countered it into a power slam. Right?
Yeah.
Then Taker put Michaels into the casket, but Shawn prevented the lid from being shut when he threw powder into the Undertaker's face.
Yeah.
Thus temporarily blinding the Taker as well.
Yeah.
And Taker tried to come back with a choke slam, but Michaels fought him off and then hit a moonsault press off the top rope, right?
Yeah.
And then Michaels hit a clothesline over the top, and then Taker pulled him out, and Taker landed on his feet, and then Taker just pulled Michaels out of the ring, and then Taker then sent Michaels into the security railing at ringside. Like, Taker wasn't taking any of this shit at all, right?
Yeah.
And then Michaels did manage to make a comeback by whipping Taker knees first into the steel steps. Right, which we always see wrestlers take that spot sometimes, and it still looks brutal. Right, like kneecaps aren't meant to be whipped into the steel like that. Right.
Yeah.
Then Michaels then picked up the steel steps and hit Taker in the back with the steel steps 2 times in a row. And then this is the part that made me cringe. After that, Michaels freaking picked the Undertaker up and delivered a pile driver onto Taker onto the steel steps. You could literally hear the sound of Taker's head cracking against the freaking steel steps at that point.
Yeah.
That sounded sick. Right?
Yeah.
Michaels then got back in the ring, but on the outside, Taker was like trying to recuperate and selling the freaking injury that was done to his head. At that point, selling the injury, right?
Yeah.
Then Triple H came and then choked Taker out with a crutch. With one of his crutches, which there's nothing the referee can do. It's no disqualification. Right?
Yeah.
And then after that, Hunter ended up hitting Taker in the back with his crutch. Oh yeah, and if you want to know why Triple H had a crutch, is because he had like an ankle injury or a leg injury at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, then back in the ring, Michaels hit Taker in the back with a steel chair and then told the fans to suck it. Right?
Yeah.
Because this is back when DX were heels. I know they're more fondly remembered as faces, but here they were a heel team. And the fans booed Michaels at this, right? And of course, then Michaels then freaking, but then Michaels did hit a running back elbow on the Taker in the ring. And then Michaels then rolled The Undertaker into the casket. But then Undertaker came back with punches to Shawn, and he punched Hunter out too. The Undertaker was on top. Was like, you put The Undertaker in a casket, you're giving him superpowers. Right?
Yeah.
And then Undertaker and Michaels were back in the ring. Michaels hit a swinging neck breaker on Taker, and then Michaels then jumped on the back of the big man, applying a on the back of Taker, applying a sleeper hold. And it looked like the Undertaker was going down, but after about a minute, the Undertaker then hit a belly to back suplex and to start his comeback, putting the champion at a disadvantage. Yeah, putting the champion on the offense. Of course, then Michaels then came back, and then Michaels reversed Taker's momentum. He was trying to build up with a forearm. Then Michaels went to the top and hit an elbow drop from the top rope. Then Michaels set up in the corner and connected with a Sweet Chin Music super kick, putting the Undertaker down. And if pinfalls counted, Michaels probably would have had a visual pinfall and a win right there, but that's not the case. And then Michaels then rolled the Undertaker into the casket. And when the Undertaker was down out in the casket, all Shawn Michaels had to do was just shut the lid to win to retain the title, right?
Yeah.
Instead, Michaels got all cocky. So Michaels decided to freaking balance himself on top of the casket, lid still open, and he decided to do the whole crotch chop suck it gesture over a prone Undertaker in the casket. Which then the Undertaker responded by grabbing Michaels in the crotch region in the nuts. And even Jim Ross was like, "That's not a choke slam."
That's a nut slam.
Yep. Yep, and then Taker just threw Michaels back into the ring. And the Undertaker got back into the ring himself. And he hit a back body drop to Michaels, who took it, and a turnbuckle bump also to and then a turnbuckle bump by Michaels, also on top after the back body drop. Then Taker hit a choke slam onto Michaels, and afterwards Taker picked Michaels back up and hit a big boot to the face. And then the Undertaker was then going for his running clothesline in the corner, but Michaels moved. Michaels moved, and then Taker went falling into the... Actually, no, he went for a flying clothesline in the ring, not in the corner. But Michaels moved out of the way, because then the Undertaker went flying into the casket.
Yep.
And then Michaels then went to the top rope and actually performed an elbow dive from the top rope to the outside into the casket.
Yep.
And then the two referees that are ringside by the casket just shut the lid on both men, rang the bell, and declared the match a no contest. No, I'm kidding. That's not how it happened. How bullshit of an ending would it be if that was the case, though?
Man.
But both men were in the freaking casket, fighting each other briefly, and then Michaels tried to crawl out, but then the Undertaker got up and then pulled him back into the casket and started punching him some more with the lid coming back down. That's a visual.
Yeah.
That's a scary visual, something you'd see in a horror movie. All right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then Taker punched Michaels out of the casket. They both went back into the ring again. And the Undertaker then hit a huge choke slam in the center ring to Michaels. And then Taker promptly went to pick Michaels up, stood on the apron, and actually hit a tombstone pile driver into the casket onto Michaels, which I believe that's the first and only time we ever seen that happen.
Yeah.
And of course, for some reason after this, China sent the referee into the steel steps like that really is a factor in there because there's no DQ in the match. So there's nothing the referee can do anyway. So what was the use of that, right?
Yeah.
And then right when Taker got back into the ring, preferably to try to freaking position himself to close the lid on Michaels to win the championship, that's when the New Age Outlaws and all four members of the Los Pericuas came out to attack Taker in a 6-on-1 situation. And despite the Undertaker despite being attacked, the Undertaker still tried to reach for the lid, but he couldn't do it. He was overpowered. And that's when the lights And that's when the lights of the arena just went off, and then Kane's music started playing. Then Kane then made his way out to the ring, and everyone, Michaels, Triple H, and everyone got out of Kane's way. Kane got in the ring and freaking took out Los Pericos and the Outlaws, presumably to help the Undertaker. But then when Kane went to go make his pyro go off on all four turnbuckles, they didn't go off. I think that was a botch, really, or it may not have been. The pyro didn't go off on purpose, probably, because then Kane did the unthinkable and actually attacked the Undertaker with a bunch of lefts and rights, right?
Yeah.
And then after Michaels, at this point, Michaels was out of the casket. And then Kane would end up choke slamming the Undertaker into the casket. And then Michaels would shut the lid, which the referee saw. Thus, referee signaled to ring the bell, but the bell never rang. But we all know Michaels just defeated the Undertaker to retain the WWE Championship here.
Yeah.
And of course, Paul Bearer came out during this also, thus signifying to everyone, yep, Kane's still united with me. And Kane and Paul Bearer locked the casket. And then Kane and Paul Bearer went to freaking, it was like, push the casket all the way to the freaking entranceway. The main entranceway right there. Then Kane went to the back. Kane came out with a pickaxe and gasoline. Then Kane would promptly destroy the lid of the casket with the pickaxe by giving it a bunch of strikes and then eventually breaking through the lid. And then afterwards, Kane took that gasoline and proceeded to pour the gasoline all over the casket and onto the inside where he made that hole with the pickaxe, right?
Yeah.
And then freaking Paul Bearer lit a book of matches, handed it to Kane, and then Kane threw the matches onto the casket soaked in gasoline and set the casket on fire.
Yeah.
And that's how the 1998 Royal Rumble event went off air, with pretty much attempted murder.
Yeah.
And of course, this wasn't aired on Peacock, but I remember there was an old exclusive on the home video version of this event, where the ringside officials and crew actually freaking came out and fire extinguished the casket, and they managed to somehow open up the casket and to veer inside, and the Undertaker wasn't even in the casket.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the Undertaker's voice came over the PA system saying, "Kane, until our paths cross again, I will never rest in peace." And that's how the fans went home. I'm pretty sure you remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. That was fucking creepy as fuck.
Yep. So anyway, that's it for the 1998 Royal Rumble. Your thoughts on the casket match main event, shenanigans, and end of the match angle included. I mean, I thought it was a good main event. Not the best Michaels Taker match I've ever seen, but it was good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this match is marked because is infamous because this was the one where Michaels broke his back, which took him out of action for 4 years up until 2002.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's your personal thoughts about this match, rewatching it again?
It was still creepy as fuck.
And the chill showed the powers of the Undertaker at the end that wasn't shown on pay-per-view, but later on home VHS. So yeah, I thought it was a great main event. All things considered. Infamous because of the backstory we know, but at least Michaels was able to make it to WrestleMania one last time to pass the torch to Austin.
Yeah.
But, and this also furthered the rivalry between The Undertaker and Kane leading into their first match at WrestleMania 14 against each other. So anyway, now that we discussed the whole event, from start to finish. Now we come to what I always say is our favorite part of the review segment, the reviews. Our rating system. So, Vader defeating the artist formerly known as Green Dust with Luna. I give that one a good 3 out of 5.
I'll give it 3.5.
Yeah, okay. Max Mini, Mosaic, and Nova defeating Batallon, El Torito, and Tarantula in that Mini's attraction 6-man tag with Sonny as a special guest referee. 1.5 out of 5.
I'll give it a half. A mini.
God damn, why you gotta go with this? But that's funny. Intercontinental Champion The Rock defeating Ken Shamrock by disqualification with that whole controversial finish to retain the Intercontinental Championship. I give that one a 3. It was going to be on 3.5 territory until the controversial ending.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3.5.
Yep. So yeah, I give it 3 out of 5. You give it 3.5 out of 5. You enjoyed it a little bit more than I did. The Legion of Doom defeating the New Age Outlaws by disqualification for the Tag Team Championships, which resulted in the New Age Outlaws retaining the titles. 2.5 out of 5.
1.
You give that one a 4 out of 5?
1.
Or 1 out of 5, okay. I enjoyed it a little bit more than you did. Steve Austin winning the 30-man 1998 Royal Rumble match to go on to face the WWE Champion at WrestleMania 14. It's kind of hard grading Royal Rumble matches, but this one I can just easily say it was a 5 out of 5.
4.5.
Yeah, so about the same, more or less. And the main event featuring that saw WWE Champion Shawn Michaels defeating The Undertaker in a casket match to retain the WWE Championship with all the shenanigans included at the end. I give that one a good solid 4 out of 5. 4.5 out of 5.
5.
Yeah, I say 4.5. Okay, fine, I changed my mind. That gets 5 out of 5. Only because the ending is so memorable, but it has that Dark Cloud backstory over it too with Michaels.
Yeah.
So yeah, I give that one 5 out of 5 as well. So pretty much this is essentially a 1-match or a 2-match show, which is the Rumble match and the main event casket match. Other than that, you can just skip the matches that happened before the Rumble match. You wouldn't really miss anything.
Yeah.
But you know, the 2 disqualifications do kind of drag it down a bit. The Vader and Goldust opener was okay, but it wasn't the best match. The mini match you can just skip over. But all being said, my final grade for the 1998 Royal Rumble is a C. It's not the best Royal Rumble. Yeah, it's not the best Royal Rumble, but it's not the worst one either.
Yeah.
And what grade do you give it?
C or B.
B. So, that's our thoughts. That's our review and our thoughts of the 1998 Royal Rumble. So, the Royal Rumble 98 was my pick. So, Riptides, next week on the review is your pick. So, what are we going to be reviewing or talking about next week?
Halloween Havoc.
Oh, God, I hate to ask what year.
Which one traumatized you more?
Oh, God, don't tell me it's going to be in the same calendar year that we just friggin' did.
Halloween Havoc of 97.
Why specifically the 97 event? Well, the 97 Halloween Havoc had Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio's classic match on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll take that. Thought you were going to say 98, but that's for another time. We don't want to torture ourselves too much.
98.
You said 97. We're doing 97 first.
Yeah, Ryzer, what traumatized you more?
Okay, fine. What do you want to pick? We're either going to be doing 97 or 98. Be more specific. We're either going to watch Guerrero and Mysterio, or we're going to watch that awful Hogan Warrior match. Your final call. Which one is it?
Yeah, I guess the 97.
You don't want to torture yourself that much, because you do realize if you're doing this to torture me, you're also going to have to watch it.
Yeah.
Well, you hear that right, people. Next week. It's like next week we are going to be reviewing our first ever WCW pay-per-view event with Halloween Havoc in 1997.
I'm doing it because it's for the Halloween, which would be the week after.
Yeah. Yep. So until then, we will talk to y'alls later. Peace.
Deuces.